Oh man. Oh my God. So I had to push our stream a couple hours because I had to work and actually got done a little early. And the whole time I was taking these copious notes that I don't know if I can read.
I know.
I'm going to try to read as we go through picks, but have you seen?
I didn't even take any notes. I'm going to have to go off the cuff.
Yeah, well, you can share my notes if I can translate them properly, but like it was like going into this draft, I was thinking, well, it's so deep at every position but quarterback that I was kind of like, there probably won't be many trades because if there's so much depth at every position, nobody's going to need to trade for anything.
Well,
and then there were 9 trades. 9 trades.
Yeah.
A point there in the middle, it was like every pick was getting traded.
It was almost every pick. Yep.
It was absolutely crazy. So
there's that one shocking. I still can't. When we get to it, I still can't believe that went through. That what they did with that trade. I'm not going to mention it now. Spoiler alert. I mean, they were all
it was just crazy. Let's see. I'm going to try to go here. All right. So I'm going to call up the website here, and we can just blow through. What's that noise?
Is that my? Yeah, I don't.
With the first pick.
Oh, it's me. Hang on.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Stupid thing.
Jacksonville Jaguars select.
Now we're gonna get freaking copyright struck because this damn.
Oh.
Here we go. It's been a while since we've been live. I'm forgetting how to operate.
I know. It's like. I was like, how do I get in there again? Oh.
Yeah. Holy hell! Right. Man. So. First off, I just want to say to the Jets fans out there that I give the Jets an A for what they did tonight.
I agree.
I
was just thinking about it. I was thinking that he's probably going to ask me what the kind of like the surprise, the good team that got good grades, and I was going to say the Jets are the ones that came to mind.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want to admit it.
Our friend Paul is a Jets fan. I gave Paul the link. I don't know if he's going to show up tonight or not.
Oh, okay, good.
I think he stopped watching after the second pick. He was so mad. He wanted Jermaine Johnson or he wanted Trayvon Walker, right? And then when the Jets took the wide receiver, he got all pissed off. Then I said, well, it's a deep draft. They can get that later on. And then they traded up and got Jermaine Johnson.
I couldn't believe what they got Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah. And I texted him. I said, there you go. You got your guy. And he hasn't replied yet. So I think he got pissed off and went and did something else.
Wow. I think that was the one pick I'm like, wow, that's a a high value pick to get him at that point. Oh.
There were a lot of guys that kind of kept trickling down. And look at Malik Willis fell right out of the first round, right?
Yep.
So one quarterback taken in the first round. That's very rare.
Yeah.
Last year, were there 5 last year?
I don't remember, but certainly more than one. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's, it was kind of weird that, the quarterback class was weak, and we'll get to that. That's why I'm wearing my Pitt hat in a bit. So I'll see if we can kind of run this down in linear fashion and react to it. But to me, the shock right off the bat, everyone thinks Aiden Hutchinson's going to the Jags, and they picked Trayvon Walker. And I don't know if you saw Walker's reaction. He barely moved. He kind of smiled, very composed, very poised. It was.
Maybe it was against the norm, but I actually thought they were going to pick Trayvon Walker.
You did?
Maybe that's not a popular opinion. I thought
to me they were 1-1A, right?
Yeah.
Either way, but it just seemed in the last week or two, all the talk was Hutchinson. He was going number 1. That was going to be it. And I, personally, I think. Did you watch any games Georgia played this year?
A couple.
Yep. If you watch Georgia play, that defense was savage.
Oh yeah.
And you can't lose with any of those guys, I don't think.
Right.
Let me just fix this a little there. Now I'm brighter. So right off the bat, and it's kind of shocked me because I'm watching his reaction, and he's sitting there in the chair, and he's like
he was.
Okay, like just another day.
That was a very subdued reaction for the number one overall
pick. I mean, he didn't even get out of the chair. He just smiled a little bit. And,
wow.
Some of his family members were crying, and then he's just kind of sitting there, as opposed to a reaction we're going to get to in a little while that was completely the opposite. So then Detroit goes and takes the obvious choice, Hutchinson. So you knew these two guys were going to Detroit and Jacksonville. In what order, we didn't know. Then another surprise right out of the gate for me. Number 3 overall, Derek Stingley Jr. to Houston.
Yeah. Again, it wasn't that much of a shock to me. I actually thought they were going to look for a cornerback. And this was the highest rated one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. With a team as full of holes as they have.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like a lot of these teams are like, you can't go wrong with a top guy in any position, basically.
Right. I kind of thought they might go with what's the center's name there? Loudermilk? Linderbaum.
Oh, okay.
I thought they might go, kind of. It looks like they're going to give Davis Mills a fair shot, but you got to kind of protect him to give him a fair shot, right?
For sure.
I kind of thought they'd build the offensive line a little bit before the defense because, I mean, their defense is pedestrian. Their whole team is just a mess. But, Stingley was kind of in a lot of the mock drafts around 8, 9, 10, 12 in there, and all of a sudden he rockets up to 3.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Lovie Smith talking about what was it, his first, I don't know if it was first press conference, but CB play has got to be better than this. So I don't know. It wasn't such a shock to me, I guess.
Yeah.
But
so and
he is a defensive coach. So
yeah, he is. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. We'll see. Then come the Jets with their first of what turned out to be 3 picks, 2 in the top 10. And, I found it interesting. I'm not a fan of BSPN, but I was forced to use BSPN tonight. But I got to, before I got to give a shout out that it was Mike Greenberg, Louis Riddick, Booger McFarland, and Mel Kiper. And Mike Greenberg and Louis Riddick in particular absolutely crushed it tonight. They were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And Greeny, being a Jets fan, of course, had.
Of course.
But they put up a stat at that point where it said both the Jets and the Giants, who both had 2 picks each in the top 10, had the same record of 22 and 59 over the last how many years it was.
Oh, wow. It really
22.
I mean, I know it was bad, but I didn't know they both had the same record.
Can you believe that? Both of them? Yeah. So, New York football fans are starved for anything to go their way. So the Jets grabbed Sauce Gardner, which I thought was a great pick.
I thought that's a great pick. Yep.
Great pick. And of course, our friend Paul, the Jets fan, got pissed off.
Really?
He wanted a pass rusher. And I said, yeah, but this dude is he's a lockdown corner. That was a phenomenal pick, I thought. I
thought, yeah. And I think the Giants really wanted him.
I think they did too.
Right after that. And it's like, I give the Jets a lot of credit for picking him.
And it's kind of funny you say that because the very next pick with the New York Football Giants, and they took Kayvon Thibodeau, which is really funny because that's the guy Paul wanted. One of the guys.
Oh.
I would have taken that guy.
I mean, yeah, okay. It would have been either one. But with the way that the edge rushers, so many of them, were available, I think that the Jets did the smart thing by picking Gardner. Yep.
I do too. I mean, they've had success in the past with Darrelle Revis and things like that. And you get a lockdown corner that really changes the whole complexion of your defense. And then your pedestrian pass rush can actually get a little better because you can get coverage sacks if your secondary's solid. So I mean, it's like 6 of one, a half dozen of another. You can improve your pass rush, but if your corners can't cover anybody and you got a quarterback that gets the ball quick, you're in just as much trouble. So
it's got to be like you got to have that balance on both sides of it.
And it becomes a question of which one do you want to build off of first. So,
well, I think especially this year, it would be harder to get a good cornerback. So they were smart to get that one first, and then as it turned out, they still got the edge.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll get into that. So up next came the Carolina Panthers. Now here's where I thought, okay, here's a chance Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett come off the board. Because Carolina's stuck with Sam Darnold. Cam retired again. He's gone. They're stuck with Sam Darnold, who did not look very good last year. And I think Sam's a career backup.
Yep.
But they decided to double down. I guess they're going to try Sam one more time and fix the line in front of him. And they go with Ike Ekwonu, who, in looking at his film, and this is what I love, what Louis Riddick did. He really did his homework. He was doing comparisons to current NFL players, and he would get a piece of film from the college player, the draft pick,
Right.
and a piece of film from a current NFL player that he mirrors, and it would be like the same exact play. Like
that's doing your whole
to the film archives, and they were like identical plays, and he'd say, "Look, for instance, he would say like Sauce Gardner looks like Jalen Ramsey," and he'd play a play where they both did the exact same thing, and it was like, whoa, like he really. That's why I said he crushed it tonight, and he was kind of spot on with his analysis, and but yeah, when I looked at Icky's film, he looks like he could be like a Jackie Slater kind of tackle. Like play like 15, 20 years, hold it down.
And I actually like this pick a lot for Carolina, and I think it makes sense because of this. I don't think they're going with Darnold this year.
Mayfield.
The way Carolina has their salary cap, they're basically one of the few teams that can make a big move here. And it doesn't have to be that big, actually. The way Mayfield's value has gotten, I think they're gonna go. They're gonna go get him. And I don't know, maybe Garoppolo if that's still a chance. But one of those, I think this makes perfect sense, because if you're gonna go and get somebody that's established like that, you probably want to get your offensive line in order.
Yeah, and maybe that'll help keep McCaffrey healthy too.
Yep.
Although, I mean, McCaffrey is just, he's
getting up there.
He's only been in the league, 5-6 years, but for a running back, that's a lifetime. And the hits he takes, because he's an all-purpose guy, and he's not very big. So it's going to be interesting. You might be right about that. You've done your homework on salary.
No, I mean, it's just well, I mean, I know a couple of them, but that was Carolina stood out as one that has that quarterback need and has plenty of salary cap room for it. If they're going to make
I haven't looked. I don't know where they're picking in the second round. If they're picking high in the second round, they could end up with Malik.
I mean, you could still Willis is still there,
right,
so
he's still there, and so's I like the kid from Cincinnati, Ritter.
Ritter
too,
right.
And so either one of those, you got to get somebody else in there, because Darnold's not the answer. So next up, the New York Football Giants came right back with number 7 pick, and they do the same thing. They pick Evan Neal, another tackle, and I think that was a great pick for them too.
That's a great pick. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought they might go with Cross, but Neal is probably a better prospect. But one of those two, I was confident they'd go with the offensive line here.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And then up comes Atlanta at number 8. Now Atlanta, another team. I'm like, okay, so the hey, Six is in the chat. Hey, Six. Yeah, we're live.
Oh, hey.
We're reacting to this draft while the sugar water keeps me awake a little longer. So the Falcons, I thought, okay, here's another one. Maybe Malik Willis comes off the board. Maybe Kenny Pickett, because they traded Matt Ryan to the Colts. So
right.
They are also in need.
They definitely need him.
Who's their quarterback right now?
I think it's who did they pick up?
I should have looked it up, but
I can't believe. I guess I didn't do that much of a homework.
I don't know.
Who was the Tampa Bay guy before Brady?
Not Ryan Fitzpatrick or somebody.
No, it was.
You want me to look it up?
That name is like.
I'll look it up.
So.
Let's look it up.
I know it's somebody that once we hear.
Well, it's kind of the idea that once they got rid of Matt Ryan, who's your franchise?
Oh no,
quarterback.
it wasn't even what I was thinking. Marcus Mariota. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's
Is that
Marcus
what-
Mariota.
It wasn't even that person I was thinking of, but okay, that's what it
Do
is.
they really have him? Okay.
I think so. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to go with him. I mean, they still can make a move or
But,
make
you know,
a
I
pick.
don't think we've seen Marcus Mariota's full potential yet because he's always hurt.
Right.
He plays 3 games, 4 games. He's hurt. He's probably played 16 total games in his whole career so far, which 4 years, 5 years.
I remember late last year he came in relief for not relief, but Carr might have gotten injury, and he brought it was against the Dolphins. That's why I remember this game, and he brought them big comeback. And I mean, they still wound up losing in the last minute field goal, but he really showed a lot of life there. So I don't know if they're looking at that film and just trying to roll the dice with him.
Yeah. God, I'm so out of I forgot how to use this. Glinzer types.
Oh, hey.
I love Debo, but the 49ers should have traded him. Never keep a player who wants to leave. Great to see.
Great point.
Thanks, Glinzer. Yeah.
That's a great
Don't. It's not over. There's 2 more days of this thing, and the way the trades were going today, 9 of them. I don't think anybody's done yet.
That's a good point.
Really 6?
Oh boy,
I'll keep my hands on the desk.
That's something that I really want to. Wow. Okay.
All right.
Looks like we never left.
I'm gesticulating too much. All right, I got to keep them up in the air. So no, Oh, all right. Well, so I thought the Falcons might take a quarterback, and they go wide receiver Drake London, who's a beast. Do you see that, like, some of those one-hand catches he's
Oh
made?
man, I saw those highlights, and again, I mean, if you're going to look at wide receivers of the teams, you probably Atlanta would be the one with the weakest at this point. I mean, I know they have Pitts as the tight end, but other than that, who do they have? So it makes perfect sense here to get the top wide receiver.
Yeah, especially with the Calvin Ridley, he's going to be suspended for the year because he was gambling and all that kind of shit. And then, all they got is Kyle Pitts, really.
Yep.
So, are they bringing Cordell Patterson back?
I don't know.
Maybe they exercise their option on him. I don't think they've signed him long term, and I can't understand. That guy is. Chicago didn't know what to do with him, and now it looks like Atlanta kind of doubts him or something. I don't know.
I mean, they did a lot with him last year. They certainly reached much higher potential than he did previously. So I don't know what the money situation is there.
So next up at number 9, and we still haven't gotten to the madness yet. So right now I'm jotting my notes, and I'm like, okay, Javon Walker number 1 was a bit of a surprise, and Derek Stingley Jr. 3rd was a bit of a surprise, but it's the way it's unfolding like I thought. Nobody's going to make trades because there's so much depth, right? Hold on. But number 9, we get the Seahawks, and now there's another team. You're like, okay, Russell Wilson's gone. Maybe they're going to go after, like, Malik Willis would fit their system, right?
Definitely.
I thought, okay, here it goes. Malik Willis is gone, because here's what I was the whole time. I was gritting my teeth, and all my nails are gone, because I'm like, the fucking Steelers are going to pick Malik Willis and destroy the franchise.
They certainly
Mike had this owner for the guy, right? And I'm like, we don't want a guy like that. Like, that just doesn't fit the way the Steelers are designed. Like, don't do that. I
was shocked from the way they talked before, how they were, really liking him. I was shocked they didn't pick him.
Yeah. Glinzer says the Jags would be better off with Balky from Perfect Stranger.
Wow.
I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll talk about. I think the Jags did all right tonight. So anyway, Seattle, I'm thinking quarterback, and they go offensive tackle.
Yeah, it was a bit like I texted before. There was a large, long offensive tackle offensive line run in this draft, along with the edge rushers.
I was going to say you kind of build your team on the line of scrimmage. That's how you win football games.
Yep.
And when there was like so many offensive linemen and so many defensive linemen available tonight, it was pretty obvious it was going to be a defense heavy draft. But here we are. I mean, there's We're 9 picks in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 defense, 3 offensive linemen. So 8 of the first 9 picks were not skilled positions. And that's rare. You don't see that in these drafts.
For this draft, this is a rare draft for that.
Yeah. And 10, the Jets circle back around, and this is the one I think that made Paul he might have smashed his phone at this point. I don't know. They take Garrett Wilson.
This guy. I mean, I know that I was confident. I was pretty sure they were going to try for a receiver, and I think they were hoping London would drop to them. It didn't happen. And this would be. I mean, he doesn't really see any potential in this guy. I mean, they need a wide receiver regardless. I'm not sure why is Paul not happy with this guy?
He wants a pass rusher. He's convinced.
Oh, I see. He was still on that.
Defense is predicated on their lack of pass. They have to get a pass rusher. He said that's been a problem for them for years, and I'm mad that they went with an offensive player in the first round. He was so pissed off. But I'm like, Zach Wilson has nobody to throw to. He's got that Barrios or Berrien, whatever that kid's name is. That was about it.
I could see his point that there were still some good rushers out there that could have grabbed, but maybe that was their point. Like there's a lot of them still there, and wide receivers is going to start to run right now when we better get there early before they're gone. Yeah,
so they get a burner. I mean, they get a guy who can stretch the field, and I thought it was a good pick. Right at this point, I texted Paul back and said, "I don't know why you're upset. I think they've done very well, and it's a deep draft. You'll get an edge rusher somewhere. I mean, they had some early second round picks, so but we'll get to that in a bit." So next up is where it starts to go a little crazy. So it was supposed to be the Washington Commandos, or whatever they're called, football team / Redskins / whatever. So they trade out of number 11 with the Saints, for the Saints number 16 and a 3rd and 4th round pick. I think that's what my scribble says. And they pick a wide receiver. Now, this is the point in the draft, right in the middle of the draft. All of a sudden, there's a fire sale on wide receivers, right? Fire sale on wide receivers.
Yep.
So they go with Jameson Williams from Alabama. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Chris Olave.
Yep. Okay.
Why didn't your Steelers take Jimmy G? Because he's crap.
There you go. It's like he answered his own question.
I think Mitch Trubisky will be better. So anyway, they take Chris Olave, and then immediately there's another trade. The very next pick gets traded.
And then it starts.
And it just started this dominoes of for a while here, it was like every single pick. And I'm scribbling my notes as I'm trying to actually pay attention to my job. Vikings then trade their number 12 and their number 46 to Detroit for the Loins number 32, 34, and 66. And then Detroit takes Jameson Williams, which was interesting because he's got a torn ACL.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have him for camp. So he's still.
You're right. There was this start of the whole wide receiver run, and I think that's what got all these trades going, because everybody was trying to jump up there and get the next one. But apparently they think he's worth the wait. So he's good. It's just, but you're right. The injury,
borderline uncoverable. Like in college, he's uncoverable. But will the ACL slow him a little bit? Will that burst be gone? Will that separation be gone? I don't know. So we'll see. Then next up, number 13, another trade. So 3 trades in a row. I'm like, what's going on? I'm scribbling. And this says the Houstons trade their number 13 to the Eagles for the 15th overall and a 4th round pick and 2 5th round picks.
Jeez.
So
incredible.
So the Eagles,
so many trades.
Eagles were racing up to get somebody.
Yep.
And this is the one Okay, here's who I really wanted the Steelers to draft. I wanted the Steelers to draft
Oh.
Jordan Davis.
Okay.
The dude runs a 4.5 40 and he's 300 and something 60 pounds or whatever. He's 6'7". He's huge. And the Steelers in the past have always had a great nose tackle who would eat up 2 blockers and stop the run. And the Steelers are getting killed on the ground, right? And I'm like, this is the guy. This is the guy. He'll just clog up the pipe. And when that trade happened, I texted my buddy Doug and I said, guess what? The Eagles just traded up and they're going to take Davis.
Before the pick happened, you thought
before the pick happened, I said, shit, the Eagles are going to take Davis. And he's like, no, they need wide receivers. And I'm like, they're going to take Davis. Because when you think of the Eagles, they also have that stout defensive line. You think of Fletcher Cox. You think of all these guys they've had. And I'm like, he's just going to fit that grimy, the Eagles, they play in the NFC East. They play that physical game. I'm like, shit. And sure enough, they fucking took him. And I was crushed. I'm like, oh no, now we're getting Malik Willis because they took Davis.
I actually thought that that if the Eagles didn't do that, Baltimore was going to take him. I think Baltimore had targeted this guy, and I think that's why the Eagles went above.
The hot leapfrog.
This kind of might have ruined not ruined Baltimore's draft, but like who they had on their mind. I don't know. Just speculation.
It could be, but I also predicted who the Ravens were going to take, so I was hot there for a while. I started calling these shots.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, luckily I got to end work early, so I got to sit down and right around
really
this time.
Look at it.
It was right around the Jameson Williams time that I was able to now I can sit here and relax and focus and drink sugar water and get all hyper. So, Baltimore comes up at number 14 and they grab who I thought they're going to grab because I know after watching a lot of Ravens games last year, their secondary blows chunks. They blow ass, man. They can't cover anybody. So I figured they were going to take
significant injuries. Yeah.
Yeah. And I figured all they got is Humphreys back there, who's decent. Well, he's actually very good when he's healthy, but I figured they're going to go safety or corner, and they took Kyle Hamilton, who is probably the best defensive back on the board.
Yeah.
So no surprise there. But right when they made that pick, they also followed up with a trade. Right after picking him, they traded Hollywood Brown and their number 100th overall pick this year to Arizona for Arizona's number 23, which was kind of shocking now to a lot of people, including I saw Lamar Jackson lose his shit online. Lamar was like, what the fuck? It's like, Lamar, have you been watching this guy? Hollywood Brown's not good. He's fast.
He's got way too many drops.
Drops everything. He's tiny, and so I guess they reunited him with Kyler Murray, and they're going to be all happy in Arizona, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So
we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, exactly. So then we get back to the draft, number 15 overall, Houston, which had a winding road to get there because Miami through Philadelphia to Houston. So they take Kenyon Green, another offensive lineman. So
another offensive lineman.
They did in the 15th pick what I thought they were going to do when they picked up at where were they?
With the
3
defensive back.
Yeah, when they took Derek Stingley.
Which is good because they needed that. They needed to do something to get one of these.
They got a Davis Mills. I mean, if you want to really give him a legitimate shot, you can't have him getting killed back there. You look at quarterbacks like look at Derek Carr's brother David, right? When Houston drafted him, all that talent, but he was getting killed.
Yeah,
he was just getting clobbered back there, and his career was over before it even got a chance to get started.
Andrew Luck never got that chance to.
Right. Well, yeah. Freaking Andrew Luck. God, he was awesome. So then up come the Commandos. God, I hate that name.
They got that 16th. Okay.
Yeah. And they go wide receiver.
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson.
Not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. They're loading up. They want to give Carson Wentz as many weapons as he I Carson Wentz is a chucker, man. Sorry. It's not
Can't
going to
believe
matter.
he's back in the NFC East. That might help out some other teams.
I'm thinking of one in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got a nice offense in Washington. Quarterback aside, I don't know if Wentz is going to be too much of an upgrade from Heineke. I mean, Heineke is not the most talented guy, but I like his competitiveness. You know, I like that he plays like Brett Favre. He doesn't have Brett Favre's talent, but he plays like Brett Favre. You know, he's got to be a little pissed that they brought wanker boy there, Wentz back in. And, you know, who knows? Wentz is made of glass too. So,
yeah, right.
Okay, and then number 17, the Chargers come up and pick Zion Johnson, offensive line. Which
again, after seeing seeing the way Herbert just has to sometimes run for his life, I'm not surprised about this pick at all.
Yeah. I mean, the Chargers they're such a weird team. And we talked about this at length each week when we covered the league, how one week they look like a Super Bowl team. And the next week, their defense can't stop anything. They're Herbert's running for his life. It's just weird. So you can never go wrong with offensive linemen, though. That's the
right.
Can never go wrong. You'll never hear me criticize anybody for taking an offensive lineman, because you just can't go wrong. That's how you win these games. I don't care how talented your quarterback or your running back. Look at the Steelers. Look at Najee Harris, man. He couldn't go anywhere last year. Yeah. Somehow still got 1,200 yards with the shittiest offensive line ever. So then another crazy trade happens.
This was the one that I was like, okay, I've been enjoying all this excitement about the trades, and then when this one happened, I'm like, all right, what's going on here?
There were only 3 trades last year. And on a normal draft night, that's about what you see. 3, 4. To have 9 trades tonight was insane. And trades in the draft are so dramatic. When you hear that, you're like, oh, wow, this team just traded up, and what are they going to do? And it just creates so much, it's amazing that we're glued to something where they're picking players that problems, some of them will not work out. And we're riveted to it. And it's become this. There were 100,000 people standing in the streets in Vegas. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, Tennessee trades A.J. Brown to the Eagles for Phillies number 18 and 101.
Again, I was shocked at this. With the Titans just insisting, just goes to show you, it doesn't matter what the team says outwardly. It's just, they kept saying it. It's like, there's no way we're ever going to trade A.J. Brown. It's like,
so he's their second best player behind Derrick Henry. Yeah. I mean, by far, he's just amazing.
Definitely.
And so they trade him away, and they bring in a younger clone, Treylon Burks. This guy looks it was funny because remember I said Louis Riddick was doing these comparisons to current players. He compared this guy to A.J. Brown.
Okay.
So they just
and then that's
traded A.J. Brown to draft A.J. Brown. But I guess A.J. Brown's going to be a free agent next year. He's going to command big bucks. So this was a salary cap decision. But boy, before they picked Burks and after they had traded A.J. Brown, I'm like, okay, they got rid of Julio. They got rid of A.J. Brown. I'm like, what?
What are they? Yeah.
Are they
what are they going to do?
What are they? And they have a pedestrian quarterback in Tannehill. He's okay. So it's like you take his weapons away. It's not like he's going to win you games, right? So
and on the other side, you got to give Philadelphia a lot of credit. They definitely needed a receiver, but they got the defensive tackle, which was a great pick, and then wound up getting an established, really good receiver, anyways, without the pick. Wow.
Yeah. So I think they're giving Jalen Hurts enough rope to hang himself with now. So if Jalen Hurts can't make it work now, then they're going to get their answer this year, the Eagles, and see if they're going to have to next year in a quarterback deep draft replace him, which they might have to. We'll see. So that happened. So then number 19, just checking the notes here, make sure nothing happened there.
Another
Actually a legitimate, that was from the earlier trade, the Saints, from the Eagles. They take another
someone
offensive,
else from the offensive
Trevor
lineman.
Penning. So again, you can't go wrong with, and they've got what's his face, the quarterback there, and Winston.
Yep.
So he got hurt last year, getting creamed back there. They're kind of in a little bit of a rebuild, the Saints. So you got to start on the offensive line, I guess. And then up comes my team at number 20. And boy, was I white knuckling this. Because I knew, I'm like, oh shit, the quarterbacks are still on the board. All the quarterbacks are still on the board.
Yep, and we were sure they were gonna pick a quarterback.
And to quote Colin Dunlap from 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, if the Steelers take a quarterback at 20, they're beer goggling. And, and I was like, oh no, they won't be able to resist the temptation, right? When they should take, I thought, okay, I wanted Jordan Davis first.
Right.
I wanted Kyle Hamilton second, or a good cornerback, one of the corners. But I really thought that they should go after that. I keep forgetting the dude's name. The center, Linderbaum.
Oh, Tyler. Oh, yeah. He's still there, right?
I'm like, right. Let's get a Hall of Fame type center. Let's get a franchise center in here and fix this thing. Because we were using a guard as a center last year. And I know they signed the kid from Minnesota, but I'm like, we don't know how good he is. So I was like, they're going to take Malik Willis. They're going to take Malik Willis and set this thing back 5 or 6 years when they realize 5 years from now that he sucks. And they surprised me and took the hometown kid from Pitt, Kenny Pickett. And look, I didn't want them to take a quarterback this year, but if you're going to take one, take that one. And Kenny's his reaction was unbelievable. He could not control his emotions. Like, did you see him sobbing?
Well, I mean, like you said, he's a hometown kid, and to actually be able to fall to Pittsburgh and be picked in the first round when we even had him going in the first round. It's like all those things just come colliding at him.
And playing in the stadium where he played college, all he's got to do now is, his locker room was on the other side of the stadium. He's just got to cross over now. That's all he's got to do. Mike Tomlin's phone call to him is on Twitter, on the Steelers Twitter account. It's awesome. And you could see Mike Tomlin tearing up when he called him. Like it's almost like they put up a smoke screen that they were in love with Malik Willis. So
that's what confused me the most. Yeah, because everything I heard was that it was going to be Malik Willis. It's like, and then all of a sudden, what?
Yeah, I saw Tomlin say too. We've circled the globe, or at least we've circled the United States, looking at all these players, and we ended up picking a guy who's right in the same building. So, am I happy they took a quarterback? Not really, because these are quarterbacks that in a normal draft would be second, third, fourth round picks. But if you're going to take one, and I think a lot of this too is the fallout from 1983 when Dan Marino was sitting there and the Steelers passed on Dan Marino. And, I think if they passed on Kenny Pickett to take Malik Willis or Ritter, what's his name? Whatever, Ritter's first name, from Cincinnati there, I think that the Steeler fans would have burned the building to the ground.
Oh, really?
Just for the idea that you passed on the Pitt quarterback again. And what if Kenny Pickett goes on to have an actual very good career and the Steelers had passed on him, just like they did Dan Marino? I think there was a lot of that at play. Look, I've watched Kenny play. He's, up until last year, he wasn't great shakes. He wasn't much at all. And then last year, he puts this season together for the ages. Who knows? We'll see. But, at least it wasn't Malik Willis. Thank God. Willis is mega talented, but he's so raw. He's just not NFL ready. Like, he'd be a project.
Yeah.
And I think that Mitch Trubisky they gave him a 2-year contract for pennies. I think Mitch Trubisky's there to hold the fort down while they groom Kenny Pickett to take over. And it's not like you have to shove Kenny in there. Now, Kenny might compete for the starting job, as Glinzer points out in the chat. We'll see. But one thing's for certain, Mason Rudolph better put his house for sale. So next up, Kansas City makes a trade. They trade up to number 21 with New England. So they send their 20. They take New England's 21 and they give them the Patriots their 29, 94, and 121. I'm telling you, I was scribbling this stuff fast.
And there's typical New England, just compiling all the picks that they can, just by trading away somebody, not somebody, but a pick that maybe they weren't so big on anyone. That
Probably someone they wanted was taken. So they're
yeah.
All right, so our guy's gone, so let's just trade down.
Yeah,
you said collect, multiple options, and that's how they've been relevant and competitive for 20 plus years. So the Chiefs take that pick and pick cornerback Trent McDuffie, which I think is a great pick because the Chiefs secondary kind of blows too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, Hunter's the only good player, and he's gone. So yeah,
they had to definitely get someone in the secondary at least here somewhere.
Yeah. Next up, 22 Green Bay shocks me with this one. Wide receiver rich draft, and you just lost Devontae.
Yeah, I wasn't.
And Valdez Scantling. They're both gone. They go with a linebacker.
It was a little confusing.
Quay Walker. That was very strange. Because to me, the Green Bay defense wasn't really the problem with them. I mean, it is and it isn't, but I mean, you've just lost your top 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, and if you're going to go with defense, I mean, there's people there already that like the aforementioned coming up. Jermaine Johnson was there.
Yeah, Devin Lloyd was there still too, and I thought Devin, if you're going to go with linebacker, I'd go Devin Lloyd. But
yeah,
I mean, here's the thing: Quay Walker from Georgia. I mean, how many of these Georgia you can't lose? Their defense, stifling this year. I mean, how many Georgia guys ended up going in? Quickly back check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Georgia defensive players in the first round. Crazy. But I still thought Green Bay at that point should have taken a wide receiver.
I know.
They didn't have anybody.
I mean, maybe they were scrambling, trying to trade up to get one of the ones that they had targeted, and when they couldn't do that, okay.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. And, the wide receivers too. I mean, I said this to my friend, our friend Doug, Steelers fan. And he's like, maybe they should take a wide receiver in the first round. I said, no. Wide receivers are a dime a dozen.
And they know how to pick those late
and the Steelers know how to find
they know how to do that, so they don't need to waste the first round.
Don't waste one. So then another trade happens at number 23. Suddenly the Buffalo Bills, they want that pick.
Yep.
So the Ravens trade their number 23 pick to Buffalo for Buffalo's 25 and 131. And the Bills grab Khair Elam.
Yep.
Easy for me.
A lot of people were speculating the Bills need a running back here or there, but no, they really needed a defensive back. I think they lost one of their starters.
He went to
another was injured. I mean, they need somebody. I mean, have you seen the playoff game against Kansas City? I don't think their offense was the problem there.
No, and their defense is great. It's their corners were a problem,
right?
So and like you said, they lost. Can't think of his name, to Pittsburgh as a free agent, so they had to replace that. But I think they do need a running back at some point in this draft.
Yeah,
there's some good running backs in this draft.
I mean, none of them got picked, so
it's amazing because the league is kind of transitioning back to running and defense from the video game passing era of the Mannings and Breezes, and it's kind of strange because you see the successful teams all have a good running game now. Tennessee with Derrick Henry, and it goes on, and Buffalo's running game hurts.
Yeah,
and a couple of these teams have no running game, but yet no running backs were taken in this round. I mean, last year we had a couple of them go. We had Najee Harris. We had
Najee Harris,
Travis Etienne go. We had a couple of them go, but yeah, not this year. So number 24, your Dallas Cowboys. Now I'm like, watch them take like Devin Lloyd and add more defense to that defense. But they didn't. I thought they made a very sound move here.
Yeah, and I know they were targeting the offensive line. I think they might have wanted who got picked before Johnson, right? Oh yeah, the Chargers got him. I think they might have been trying to get after
Zion
him,
Johnson.
But I mean, Tyler Smith was very highly regarded. A little surprised they didn't get the center as well.
Linderbaum, yeah.
But they they couldn't go wrong with what wanted to line for sure.
Yeah, no, I it was shocking to me because Jerry Jones likes to make a big splash and get a skilled player. They could have gone wide receiver,
Yep.
But they didn't. They stayed at home. They beefed up that offensive line, which when you look back at their 90s teams, that they had the best line in football.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And they have they have skilled players everywhere on the field. But I think they're having trouble with that offensive line, and Ezekiel Elliott couldn't really run last year.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting. And you want to protect Dak. He's taking a beating back there.
Yeah.
Then another shock. No, I'm sorry. I skipped a pick. 25. The Ravens, who had just made the trade with the Bills at 23 to drop to 25. They get a.
And that's a great.
I had to love the enemy on this one. When they took Linderbaum, I was like, God.
That's a value pick. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because I had him on my Steelers wish list. And this is the kind of guy you'll get 10, 12 years out of this guy. Probably. Yep. I mean, if he's everything is advertised. See, what I really liked about him when he played at Iowa is he already had the Steeler uniform on. But he looked like, that's a Steeler.
That's a
you
good point.
Draft that guy.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Steelers have a history of drafting great centers. Go back to Ray Mansfield and Mike Webster and Dermontti Dawson and Pouncey. Just goes on and on and on. So, let's see, we got another comment here from Glinzer. It says, Cowboys need a center who can tell Zach the ref has to spot the ball. Yeah. Ouch.
That's
it's funny you say that, Glinzer, because and this goes back a couple of years. It's amazing to me how some of these players don't know like certain rules, like certain things. Like when Donovan McNabb didn't know
the OT
end in a tie, and he's just kind of putzing around like. No, you have to score, or it ends in a tie, or Chase Claypool, that knucklehead with all the shit he pulls, celebrating when the clock is running and you have no timeouts, you friggin' jackhole.
Giving up precious seconds.
And then blaming it on the offensive lineman came over to take the ball away. Yeah, because you're an idiot. I wish the Steelers could trade that jackhole. I got a good idea. Let's put Chase Claypool and Terrell Edmonds in a package to San Francisco for Deebo Samuel.
Wow.
Make that trade. Okay. Yeah, like that would happen. Number 26. Now, here we go. Another trade. This would be our 8th of 9.
Jeez. Unbelievable.
The Jets suddenly, their eyes go like this. Because at this point, too, watching it on BSPN, Booger McFarland and Louis Riddick were like, how the F is Jermaine Johnson still sitting here?
I completely agree.
I
thought they were going in the top 10 at least.
They had him like top 5, right? Like, how is he still there at 25? And every draft, we have one of these guys that tumbles down. I mean, Aaron Rodgers tumbled down. Lamar Jackson all the way to 32. Or how about Geno Smith? The year Geno Smith fell out of the first round, he got him and walked out. And yeah, they had Geno.
But to be fair, maybe he should have been dropping down.
He should have been in the 7th round. So all of a sudden the Jets' eyes get big and they make a trade with Tennessee. So Tennessee sends their 26th and 101 overall to the Jets for the Jets 35, 69 and 163. And right then and there, as soon as the Jets I saw Jets on the clock. I said, "Holy shit, the Jets just
They
traded
got
up."
him.
I texted Paul, and I'm like, "Paul, they're gonna get Johnson. You're gonna get the guy you want at 26."
Yeah. After
And he
after
never
two great
responded.
picks
I
are
don't think he's still responding.
yeah.
No, he hasn't.
After two other great picks, they still got. It's almost like watching that movie. Was it called The Draft? With that movie with Kevin Costner?
Draft day.
Draft Day. It's almost like that movie.
It really was. And like,
You got
I'm
him
like,
anyway.
holy shit. I'm like, here's my text. I don't know if you can see these. Jets just traded up. They're taking Johnson or Devin Lloyd. There you are. Pass rush, ACC Defensive Player of the Year. And he hasn't responded. So you know he was pissed off after they drafted the receiver there. And he stormed out or something. And he just stopped watching. And you look, it's not a sporting event, but it's damn close. You never leave these things early. You never leave them early because you don't know what's going to happen. And I was right. And they took Jermaine Johnson. And that right there, I said, Jets won the draft. As far as I'm concerned, the Jets had the best draft of any team.
I agree.
They crushed.
Actually, the last two picks with Baltimore and the Jets were probably the top two value picks there.
I would make an
or
argument
the next
for
one
the
too.
next guy too.
Yeah, the next guy. Yeah,
the next guy. So now the Jags, ninth trade of 9. Heads versus Lions in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Well, maybe in about 20 years. There you go. That's soon.
Yeah, that's that would be my thing. Yeah.
So Tampa Bay, clearly, I think Tampa Bay might have been interested in somebody like Jermaine Johnson because all of a sudden they're like, let's get the fuck out of here. So they trade their number 27 to Jacksonville for the Jags 33, 106, and 180. So Tampa Bay picks up 3 picks. Clearly, Tom Brady. He's in. He's in the war room, right?
Yeah.
He got rid of Bruce Arians, but he's in the war room because that's a Bill Belichick move right there. Let's just trade out.
He learned well from
3
Bill
picks
Belichick.
for 1, right? Yeah. He paid attention when he was in New England. He knows what to do. So the Jags slide into number 27, and they get a steal. And I called this one too. As soon as they slid in there, I said Devin Lloyd, because Miles Jack left and went to Pittsburgh. They need another inside linebacker or a pass rusher of some kind. They have to fix that linebacking core. Bang, Devin Lloyd. I called a lot of these tonight on the fly.
Right.
Before it started, aside from I had the first 2 and I had them in reverse order, but as the dominoes were falling, these trades were happening, and you could just see things were lining up. When you did that 9 trades, it kind of just changed the whole dynamic. It was so much fun this year. It was a blast.
I think it was great fun, and I feel sorry for all those guys that whose jobs are to do these mock drafts. It's like you never had a chance. It's like 9 trades. How do you can't predict any.
That's
of that.
why I don't even pay attention to those mock drafts because of trades, because things happen.
And this year especially, never had a chance.
Never had a chance. So it was it was awesome. And usually we have a draft party with Paul and Doug and myself, and this year I was sitting here alone, scribbling my notes and going, holy shit, to nobody.
Can't believe it.
Holy shit. And texting people wasn't as good. Doug was driving to Washington, D.C. for some of his kids. So he might be watching right now for all I know. And, I had to work, for much of the first part anyway. And so, all right. And then it played out normally. There were no more trades. The drama stopped. The only drama was is this going to finish before our 11:30 scheduled? And it was
right perfectly on time.
Ran 5 minutes over. So Green Bay comes back at number 28, and they take a defensive tackle.
But from Georgia.
Still no wide receiver, but from Georgia. And again, like you said, Devontae Wyatt. That I was looking at the film on Devontae Wyatt. That guy is a beast, man. Holy crap.
Another good pick.
Yeah. I mean, when I watched Georgia play in their bowl game, the conference
was crazy.
and the bowl game. Oh my God. I don't think I've seen a college defense like that. maybe ever. I don't know. I mean, Alabama's always got good teams, and Clemson's had some good teams recently. And you see teams that are good, but their offense is usually so dominant that the defense is okay. Like they're good enough. Georgia, that was something to behold this year. That defense.
Well, it's be interesting to see how they are with the loss of so many.
I was gonna say like next year they're gonna start from scratch, right?
Yeah.
And like I was thinking that with Ohio State because those two Ohio State wide receivers went back to back.
Oh, that's true.
Wilson and Olave back to back, and it's like they got nobody now. Right? Their top two guys are gone. So Bill Belichick slides into number 29 now and makes a strange pick.
Yeah, I wasn't
all strange.
I was like, huh?
The guy had a second round grade on him.
Yep. I didn't see this guy going in the first round. I don't know. He had to see something.
They put up a stat on ESPN that he was projected. The Patriots' next pick is like 95, I think, or something like that, or 59. And he had a 95% chance of still being there at 59.
Jeez.
So they kind of jumped the gun on him.
Strange.
Yeah. Really, literally a strange pick. Then the Chiefs come back and pick George Karlaftis.
Yeah, I know he's another popular position, but I'm not sure if he was really rated to be in the first round.
I don't either. I guess, he's a little undersized. He's got some short arms, I guess, but he's a competitor. And, I mean, at this point, you're almost in the second round at this point. So.
Oh, I take it back. Some people had him like in the 20s. So
did they really?
I guess he was not that might be a pretty good pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't know anything about him, and then Booger and Riddick didn't. I mean, they weren't down on him, but they weren't like raving about him either. I think they think he's a bit of a project. He might take a year, maybe two, to kind of come into. Because at Purdue, he wasn't. He what do you have? Eight sacks maybe or something, but like they don't think it'll translate to the NFL as quickly. I mean, that happens to a lot of guys. It takes them a couple of years, unless your name is T.J. Watt. Hey, the Steelers got him way down here one year. They got him like 9 or something. Then Cincinnati comes in, and I called this one too because I'm like, their secondary's putrid aside from Bates. Bates is awesome. And they go Daxton Hill out of Michigan.
And I thought this was a pretty good pick here. I actually expected Daxton Hill to go before this, so I
it's a very good pick for Cincinnati. That he was still sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, again, going back to what we said at the top of the hour, that this draft is so deep at every position but quarterback that, the second round, some of these second rounders are, potential first round picks.
Yeah.
Go early in the second round. And Minnesota closed it out with another defensive back, Louis Cine.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's from Georgia, but I really didn't know much about him.
And I didn't watch any film because as soon as they picked him, I shut the thing off and running in here to turn this on. So, and, I thought right there too. I was looking at the last couple picks, like from New England, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Minnesota. I'm like, the Vikings might take a flyer on Malik Willis at 32, like Baltimore did with Lamar. Thought they might do that because let's face it, Kirk Cousins is not worth the $8 million they're paying him.
Yeah, that would have been like at least take a chance.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't have to start him. Like Malik Willis is a 2 to 3 year project, I think. So it's the kind of thing where you could do like what Green Bay's doing with Love behind Rodgers. You could do, if Minnesota took Malik Willis and brought him in, and Kirk Cousins played the next 2 years, and while he learned and refined his game because he's got a cannon for an arm and he's wicked fast. He's just so inaccurate,
Yeah, you could have spent.
I was like, maybe I'll take him, but they didn't. They went defensive back. So
could have spent a couple years watching
Cousins
and learn what not to do, and then
See what I'm
then
doing?
start.
Don't do it. Well, yeah, overall, I think this is one of the
Oh my gosh! In terms of excitement,
most fun drafts to watch. It was just a
I
blast.
mean, looking back, it would have been great to do it live because it would have been so many reactions. But
It would have been fun to do it live. But real life intrudes once again.
how do you expect to have nine trades?
Yeah.
Especially one that was like where you have a more defense and like O-line. It's like you're not having all these, great, skill positions, as you've said, coming out. Not a lot of quarterbacks coming out. I mean, obviously you had some wide receivers, but they waited at least till like the 10th pick or so to start going. Shaping, I didn't expect that many trades were going on.
No, in the way they were stacking up. It wasn't like a trade here and a trade there like you normally get. I mean, there was that run right here. I'm looking at 11, 12, 13, 18. Where'd the Ravens? The Ravens were 14, then 18, 21, 23, 26, 27. And they were but that one part right in the middle where it was 11, 12, 13, and 14. There was 4 trades back to back to back to back. That was just insane. And then like you catch your breath from that. You're like, okay, 16, 17. Oh, Christ. AJ Brown just got traded. Like
that was the one.
Yeah.
That really this can't be happening.
So 2 wide receivers named Brown were traded today. Hollywood and AJ.
I'm wondering if Samuel's still up for grabs for this.
Well, I think that it's going to be interesting. When a player gets disgruntled like that, it kind of takes the leverage away from the team.
That's true.
Because now every other team knows, well, he wants out, so we'll just wait it. We'll wait it out, right? Like we don't have to give up too much. We'll just wait it out until it becomes untenable. Kind of like when Antonio Brown had the Steelers over a barrel like that. The Steelers got jack shit for him from the Raiders. Yeah. They just had to get rid of him. And Debo could become that kind of a cancer. Look, how many times did I say it during the season? I fucking hate wide receivers. I can't stand them. They're prima donna, diva, whiny bitch assholes who blow up locker rooms. That's what they do.
Yeah.
As soon as they get a taste of success, they think they're bigger than the whole team. And they look at how many times do we see it? OBJ, Antonio Brown, like it's one after the TO, like Chad Johnson. It was just over. And Keyshawn. Over. I think Keyshawn was the original. Keyshawn patented this move, right?
Like the original one.
Like he's got a copyright trademark on how to be a total team obliterator. And then T.O. and all the rest of them. Like they nauseate me. I say it all the time. In a normal offensive output, you run what? Maybe 75 plays, right? 70 to 75.
Right.
How many times does a good receiver actually touch the ball? 7? Targeted 10, 12 times?
Yeah.
Like you're factoring into like 1/10 of the offense. Shut the fuck up.
But really you can blame ESPN for this because you always see the highlights of the receivers out there.
That's right.
And it gets, they start seeing their own highlights and that's it.
Debo, we need 10 yards. Jimmy G going to throw 3. Well, I mean, look, in Debo's defense, they started using him as a Swiss Army knife. They used him running back and all this kind of crap, and he got the shit beat out of him. And I get why he'd be like, no, I'm a wide receiver, so either pay me and use me as a wide receiver or pay me more to do all this crap and get the shit beat out of me. I get that part. But to say he wants out, no, I mean, it's weird. I don't know. It's weird with the 49ers. I don't know what's going on up there. Because you go back to the Jim Harbaugh days, and there was all this malfeasance going on there too. And then before him, Mike Singletary. It's like, what's going on up there? Is it ownership? Why is nobody ever happy up there? Like, it starts out that way. Like, look, they're doing well. And then all of a sudden there's all this drama and people want out, and Kaepernick's whining and taking a knee. And like, it's weird. What is going on up there?
Yeah.
No harmony, that's for sure.
Must be the air.
I live in California. That's the problem. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, wrap this puppy up.
It's like, emotionally exhausted over this one.
I know.
It's only the first round.
I know. What time does it start tomorrow? I was looking for that.
I think it's 7.
Is it really?
I think it is. I don't know why it's like it is that early, but I mean, I know it's 2 rounds, but
it keeps going back to this draft home. Where's the draft information? Well, I'm not in Vegas. I could have been. I was supposed to be working out there this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I was like, I can't. I just got back from a job and I have to go to another one next week. And I'm like, I can't go to do a trade show where I'm standing all day on my feet. And it's like, I'm going to pass this year on that, even though I lost a good paycheck. But, yeah, I don't know. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Tune in Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for rounds 2 and 3.
Okay.
And then Saturday's like 9 a.m. to like 6, right? Something like that.
9 a.m.?
Something like that. It's all day, right?
I thought it was at least like 12 o'clock, but geez, 9 o'clock.
I'll hit learn more on this. Let's see.
Yeah, that goes on all day long. Yeah.
Here it is. Saturday. Oh, noon.
Yeah. Okay.
It goes to like 6 or 7 p.m. usually.
You gotta go through, what is it, like 4 rounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 4 through 7, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
I usually have it all on all weekend long and just kind of check in once in a while.
Walk in and out while you're working. And
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. And try to catch because when you get to those later rounds, they just fire through so fast. It's like when we do a fantasy draft and it's like, yep.
Just
over in a half an hour. Yeah. So I'd say the first 2 rounds are the best. And then, I mean, come on, unless you're a college football like aficionado, you don't even know anybody's name. You just look at the guy they drafted and see what position he plays and hope he works out.
Basically, yeah.
And we can all become like, pseudo scholars on the first round picks. They talk enough about him for 4 months. As soon as the season ends, it's all you talk about is the potential draft picks. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
yeah.
All
right.
This was fun. This was something different. I wish we did the whole draft, but maybe next year. And I sent out links to. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Before we go, I got to dig up this thing because Doug sent it to me, and I'm gonna try to because he texted me too much tonight. I'm see if I can go back. Here it is. He says, and I'm gonna give him credit. This is from our friend Doug Melanson, who we've been trying to get on this thing, and he says he's kind of scared, but we'll have to break that. We'll have him talk to Six. She'll tell him, "Don't be scared." I'm doing some research you can use on the show. Since 2000, the year 2000, there have been about 60 first-round quarterbacks drafted. About 15 of these were very good to great. 5 to 8 average starters for a half dozen years or so. The rest were absolutely waste of a draft pick.
Jeez.
Since 2000, there have been only 5 quarterbacks I would put in the good to great category that were drafted after the first round. There are about 3 others that fall in the startable category drafted after the first round since 2000. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, and Dak Prescott are all non-first rounders.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I mean, you think about that. Tom Brady fell to the 6th round. Drew Brees, I mean, the knock on him, too small. Russell Wilson, the knock on him, too small. Dak Prescott, was not on anybody's radar, really, right?
What was...
I think he was fourth
round. Yeah, I think so.
Then he said Fitzpatrick, Dalton, Matt Schaub, and Gardner Minshew are the next 4 best, and they were not drafted in the first round either. So another fun fact of my research is accurate. There are only 8 current starting first-round quarterbacks with a better winning percentage than Mitch Trubisky.
Wow.
I think Mitch might surprise a few people this year. Really do. So, yeah, we'll see.
I mean,
But now we get Kenny Pickett.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's really given him a good system yet. Mitch Trubisky. I mean, it was all screwed up there in Chicago. So who knows?
What quarterback has succeeded in Chicago? with
Jim Harbaugh.
No, but I'm talking about with Matt Nagy. Nobody.
I know.
Nobody, which is why he was going to ruin Justin Fields too, and they saw it and they were like, no. First they took the out of his hands. Remember, they took.
Oh yeah.
Like, no, you're not going to. No, get back. And then they fired.
Yeah, Fields might not have survived the year, but
I like him too. I don't want to see him get wrecked. But I mean, look, they bring in Nick Foles, garbage, Andy Dalton, crap. Like all these quarterbacks, Trubisky washed out. And Trubisky that year he was 13-3, had like 26 picks against 8, or 26 touchdowns against 8 picks. Like he was pretty good.
Yep.
And then they lost that game to the Eagles, the playoff game. And it's like they blamed it on Trubisky because they had to settle for too many field goal attempts, and the kicker kept missing. Remember, he kept hitting crossbar and shit. And then, like, that was the end. It was like all the pressure they put on that kid. It was just, he was never the same after that. And then they pull him really quick. And no, Matt Nagy sucks. And I have friends that are Bears fans who have hated him from the get-go. So Glinzer has a solution to the 49ers issue there. It says Jed York lost tons of respect when he fired Harbaugh and kept Balky. The Balky, who in the 2 years as GM for the Jags, has 3 wins. And hired what's his face, the coach last year.
Yeah, that was probably the worst hire ever.
What was his name? The college guy there that asshole fire. Can't think of his name. But
I know.
It's very late. Trubisky, Winston are more valued than Jimmy G. Yeah, sadly.
I'm not sure about Wentz, but maybe.
Not Wentz. Yeah.
Definitely.
In Winston,
you don't know.
Trubisky's a reclamation project. The Steelers took a flyer on him. We'll see. He's got all the tools. I mean, when you look at him, he's huge. He can run. He's got a cannon for an arm.
He's definitely very mobile. Very mobile.
Yeah. So we'll see. The fun begins in 5 months. 5 months, and let's pump the brakes. We don't need to be in the fall. Let's enjoy.
Exactly.
Enjoying a little baseball right now.
And we're still going to be a lot of moves away from that season start.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, it was good to do our football talk again after so many months away.
We had to take a break after what was like, I don't know how many in a row.
I can't believe we did the whole season.
Like 30 in or whatever, 20 something in a row.
Did the whole season. So, yeah. See if we can do that again. Can we do it 2 years straight?
Yeah.
Not missing a week. We can. We got this. All right.
If there's anything that keeps me coming back every week, it's definitely NFL.
Urban Meyer, thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, my brain is melted. So.
Me too.
So anyway, yeah, that's it for me. Thank you for tuning in and watching this either live or on replay. Don't forget to thumbs up and maybe subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of the draft, everybody.
Yeah.